It's running, so all you have to do. Go ahead. Election of 1800. Tell me about it.
Well, to be honest, I don't know much. What I wrote down was Jefferson and Adams was president and vice president, and my guess is that led to the 25th Amendment, question mark.
Okay, -5. Looks like that time really helped. Go ahead.
All right, so Thomas Jefferson became president. See, Aaron... What is this?
Jean-Pierre, tell it. Jean-Pierre, go ahead. Yeah, you haven't really spoken yet. 5. Zoom in closely. 4.
Thomas Jefferson
Jean-Pierre.
became president. Aaron was the vice president, and he wanted the big seat. So, because of that, he shot Thomas Jefferson.
Who shot Jefferson?
Aaron.
Are y'all sure we didn't talk about this?
Hold up.
No, we
Aaron
did. Our class
shot
did.
Alexander Hamilton in a duel.
Aaron Burr shot Alexander Hamilton in a duel. Explain it to me.
Okay, so Aaron Burr was angry at Alexander Hamilton because Alexander Hamilton caused Aaron Burr to lose the chance to get the big seat. So
The big seat.
Yes, the presidency.
Okay, Aaron Burr was running against Thomas Jefferson. Pardon me, Aaron Burr was actually supposed to be Thomas Jefferson's vice president in the election of 1800. And ultimately ended, what's that?
But he tied.
But they tied. They did. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Tell me more. So when they tied, it was supposed to go where?
It
To
was
decide.
supposed to go to the Senate to decide.
-5. -5. So if you said your class didn't talk about this.
It's just, I mean, from common knowledge.
Okay, go ahead. We
Well, I
can
was
try.
just gonna say it went to the House.
Yeah, it did. It is supposed to go to the House. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And what happened? Go ahead, Tony. Help them out.
Alexander Hamilton wanted to start his own country in the Appalachian Mountain.
-5. Tony giveth and Tony taketh away. No, it was actually Aaron Burr. In the election of 1800, Burr and Hamilton tied. Burr was supposed to be the vice president. Burr was supposed to be the vice president. Jefferson was supposed to be the president, but they tied. Aaron Burr decided to go for the presidency, and it was Hamilton who ultimately said, you know what? I don't like Jefferson, but Burr can't be the president, and he threw the election to Jefferson. Well, at that point, Jefferson was president. Aaron Burr challenged Hamilton to a duel, and when they had the duel, they ultimately fought. Hamilton gave himself up. Burr shot and killed the man on the $10 bill and then decided to go into the Appalachian Mountains and create his own country, charged with murder and treason as vice president. The 12th Amendment is a key amendment because it's the amendment where the president and the vice president were elected together. It used to be if you got the most votes, you were president. Second most votes, you were vice president. And really the problem in the 1800 election was if you had one party that was president, but the other party was vice president, it would cause issues. So that's what that was. Yes?
So how do you spell his name, Aaron Burr?
Oh, you know, we'll deal with that later. We got to keep moving. Click it, Rhea, if you would. And I think actually you gave me the last correct answer, even though Tony contradicted it. Go ahead, pick me a category. We're almost out of time.
Let's do Articles 3.
Articles for 3. I need common law. What is common law? And I know your class dealt with it because Madalena has raised her hand.
The English judges make the law?
Judge-made law. Go ahead, tell me about this.
Got it.
5.
Oh, well, like when a law isn't specific enough, so the judges have to just, no, crap, I don't know.
Go ahead, y'all have control. 5.
We talked about it today in the school about the kid drawing the whatever, the water gun.
The 2-finger.
The 2-finger gun. But the point is that the common law was that anything gun related pretty much was not accepted in the schools. So even though it was a really minor issue, it was just a drawing, he still got suspended.
Only the 10 o'clock class got this. So the anger that y'all had with me just a second ago, you have an advantage now that evidently the young man did not take advantage of. But common law is judge-made law. And it's like you said at the beginning, they try and write laws that are going to be specific, but sometimes judges make laws ultimately, and they've got to fill in the cracks for what the legislature cannot anticipate. So that's what I'm looking at as far as common law is concerned. Go ahead, pick me a category, Rhea, if you'll click it. 45, 50, 55, 55 to 45 to 48. Really close.
We haven't done any of this
Yo.
without like.
Yeah, what about the?
No, those aren't.
Only the categories that have names.
Okay, let's do
Can we do presidency for 2?
2.
Sounds like presidency for 2. I need definitions for executive order, executive agreement, and executive privilege. Go ahead, Tony.
It's an order that the president makes about the Congress.
It only lasts the
The
president's term.
presidency.
Okay, so with the executive order and executive privilege, there was an incident in the office.
What is executive order? Yeah, tell me executive order, because you're right. It is only binding during the president that makes it, but what is it an example of?
So it allows him to maintain his confidentiality so he could do his job, where Congress can't access his ability to say things.
We are getting closer to being tied. Somebody, executive order, go ahead.
Executive orders where the president can pass laws without the help.
Yes, the president can make law without any help of Congress. Tell me more.
But it's only binding on that president during his terms in the office.
Yeah, I think that's been said, but I took away points from them, so I'll give them to you. Go ahead.
And it's up to the next president if whether or not they want to keep it.
Can the president make executive orders on anything at all? 5, 4, 3. Anybody in the group?
Yeah.
2. What's that?
Yeah.
-2. Go ahead, Madalena.
Well, you give the example of Obama and his executive order regarding illegal immigrants, how he was
Undocumented immigrants. That was an example. Can you give me any other examples? 5. Anybody? 4.
We watched the NSL video,
What's that?
Saturday Night Live.
Yeah, that was the one that dealt with the undocumented immigrants, so that we've talked about that. Can you give me something new? 3, 2. Edward already said something that was wrong somewhere else that would work here.
Was the DACA provision also?
The what?
The DACA provision also an executive order by Obama?
The what?
That's the same thing.
Oh, it's the same thing. Never mind. Just like it's nothing.
Understand on this, with an executive order, the president can only make executive orders dealing with Article 2 powers. So it's not like the president can make a budget. However, the president could, on the other hand, deal things like commander-in-chief, which undocumented immigrants may have fallen under that. I mentioned the Japanese Americans in World War II. That was an executive order. And I mentioned Harry Truman desegregating the military. An executive order. First-hand I see, executive privilege. Go ahead.
Executive privilege is basically where a president gets to keep confidentiality about what goes on, so that way he can get the honest truth from the politicians.
Confidentiality in terms of what? Lay it out for me. 5.
In terms of experts giving him opinions about what to do, what not to do.
Yeah, but what is now that's the reason why you should have executive privilege, but what is it? 3, 2.
Richard Nixon with the whole tape situation.
Okay, explain it to me. What can you keep confidential? 2, 1. I think they've got it, right, Ree? Go ahead. Ree's like, I don't know. Yeah, just get it.
No, I saw this one. I'm saying
When
they
it came
did,
to Nixon and they
I'm
asked for
sorry.
his tapes, first of all, he said he could give them transcripts, and then he said he'd give them parts of the tape. And
Yeah, he did say these things. First he said he would give them transcripts, then he would give them actual excerpts of the tape. Go ahead.
but then they asked for the real thing, and he claimed executive privilege.
Absolute executive
Absolute.
privilege. And what does this mean exactly?
That means that it means that they wouldn't be able to access the tapes because of confidentiality, but they didn't let them because this had nothing to do with wartime or anything that would hurt the country.
When did the Supreme Court say that the president could use executive privilege?
When it just threatens the safety of the country.
Wartime, troop movements, battle plans, national security kinds of things. So they did actually order him to turn these things over.
And if he had said that this stuff was on there, they would have let him not show it.
Do you remember who did say national security all the time? More than any other administration in American history?
Bush.
Which one?
The
4.
one that dealt with 9/11.
The one that 9/11 Bush. W. Bush actually did this, yes. And to kind of flesh this out just a little bit more, the most important or the key thing on this, talking about executive privilege, any executive branch communications. So, letters, memos, emails, or in this instance, tapes would be a good example. Executive order, executive privilege, first-hand IC, executive agreement. Oh, shame, shame, shame. 5, 4, 3, 2. Go ahead.
International agreement.
Google that.
Usually
Zoom in on him. He's a man now. We can put him online.
International agreement. Oh yeah, that's
Zoom
true.
on the phone, like.
I'm gonna usually regarding routine administrative matters not warranting a formal treaty.
Okay, so put it in your words.
It's
3.
an agreement that's international. And
-2. I've had enough. You're right.
So this involves World War I, how we're still at war with them?
-2. Nobody wants this one. Oh, yeah, it is your group. That's wrong.
I don't think that's it.
Okay, executive agreement, a lower level treaty that the president can negotiate with foreign powers that does not require the consent of the Senate. And if you remember on this, I had mentioned to you the Migratory Bird Treaty with Canada. If you remember on this, I had mentioned W. Bush having some treaties, in fact, with Mexico dealing with the securing or monitoring of the border. So keep this in mind. And just like an executive order, it would only be binding on the president that made it. So as soon as the next president comes in, they can basically kick it away. Really the important thing on this, if you remember, I gave you that article that said you need 2 out of 3 branches to get something done. Trump has issued executive orders. They're binding on Trump, but the next president could come in and change them. Barack issued executive orders, but again, it's only one branch. Trump immediately came in and changed them. Executive agreements are only binding on the president that makes them, and executive privilege is that way too. So anytime it's only one of the 3 branches of government, it's a little bit dangerous. Click it, Ray. We're almost mercifully done, and nobody wants to win right now. 53, 51, 50. The foreigners are ahead. Pick me a category. Yeah.
Presidency, 5 points.
Didn't we do this one?
No, we did it, yeah.
We did. This was makeup. Yeah, this was makeup. Pick me another one. Rhea is having trouble working the board.
No, I went back. It's just never
Articles,
colored.
4 points.
Articles for 4. Okay, this one is not a Pictionary. First hand I see. This one is ripeness. First hand I see. It looks like Brian and then Madalena. Brian, you have a chance to get into first place.
So we're talking about that how cases have to be ripe in the Supreme Court for them to hear it.
Yeah, what does that mean, right?
So to be ripe, cases must have suffered an injury.
You can speak up. Go ahead, Anna. Get close to Anna.
In order for a case to be considered right, the person suing or going to the Supreme Court has to have already suffered an injury.
They have to have already suffered an injury. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now you are in first place.
And then we gave the example of, what was the example?
5, 4.
So there's a contraceptive.
How do the contraceptives work? That's not the way I wanted to ask that, but you know what I mean. 4, 3.
So this lady, she wanted to get on birth control because if she wasn't on it, she could die.
That's right. There was a lady that had a medical condition. You remember what state she was in? 4.
What state?
What state? 4, 3. What state? 2. What state? 1.
Some isolated ass state.
Does anybody know the state? -4. The state. Whoa. The state. Thank you. The state was actually. What's that? It was Connecticut. 1, 2, 3, 4. So she actually wanted to get on birth control. She had a medical condition. This was a Connecticut law. What did the Connecticut law do?
Connecticut law said that she couldn't get birth control. So what?
Ooh, give me a little bit more specific.
That's not right.
There were 2 parts. 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
So it practically prohibited doctors from prescribing and suggesting contraceptives.
Prescribing, 1, 2, 3, 4. Advising, 1, 2, 3, 4. Both.
And then what ended up happening was that, the woman ended up going to court, but she hadn't suffered an injury yet. So
she sued and she said, I need birth control because I might die if I get pregnant. And the court said?
But they struck it down because it wasn't right.
They said it wasn't right. You haven't suffered an injury. Go ahead.
So then the doctor was saying, he has to keep his, his patients, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, what ended up happening was she went back to the doctor. She brought a police officer with her. And then she had the doctor prescribe her with contraceptives and immediately got written a fine.
And so what's the injury?
The injury was her fine.
The injury was the fine, and the Supreme Court immediately struck it down. So she goes to court once, they threw it out because she hadn't suffered an injury. The doctor sued the second case, they immediately threw it out because the doctor hadn't suffered the injury. And then the third time she got arrested, that was the injury, and the court immediately struck it down. Madalena, did you have something to add?
No, I was just gonna say that they didn't mention that the doctor also went to the court.
I think they did mention
Yeah,
that.
I
It was, yeah, go ahead, you still.
Was she arrested or just fined?
It was both. The
Okay.
fine came with the arrest ultimately. Go ahead, click it if you would. Y'all are in first. Pick me a category. Ree's doing her own thing again.
Can we get articles for 1 point?
Articles for 1.
If we haven't done that.
I'm pretty sure we haven't.
Yeah, we have.
Alright.
Yeah, we did do that one.
did.
Okay, we did. I don't know
So
why.
let's go to-
2 points.
Articles 2, I know we did.
Judiciary.
And Ree's really screwed up this
I
board.
touched it. I
Zoom in on Ree's. She's gonna
It
blush
did
on
not
camera.
work.
She
I
messed it
touched
up.
articles in the beginning twice. It did not work.
Judiciary for 1.
I don't think we did that.
We did not do that one. Judiciary for 1. Firsthand I see the significance of truth, justice, and the American way.